Greetings everyone, my name is Sergey Semyonov. This is Accordion Utopia, this is my workshop, and this video is about this instrument that I just restored and prepared for someone to play. It's essentially ready to play, and it comes with the case, which is not the original case, but the instrument fits in it very nice. I'll show you, and I'll tell you everything that I know about this instrument and show you how it sounds, what's inside. So if you like it, just contact me. You can go to Accordion Utopia website, accordionutopia.com, and then you will see my contact information there. Or you can just make a comment under this video. So this is button accordion, and actually it's called Bayan. It was made in Russia, in Moscow factory, same factory where now they make Jupiter instruments, but that was during Soviet Union time, so the factory wasn't called Jupiter at that time. So let me play a little bit on this instrument first, and then I'll tell you what it is and how it's. So I just played a lonely harmonica melody in 4 octaves, I guess. The range here is 5 octaves if you start from G and goes to G 5 octaves higher. So 1 octave. So let me try something in a different effect. When you play thirds and a low octave, I mean it's just sound too rich or too like this. If you play the same one here, much better. And so very nice instrument, powerful sound, very bright right hand, very deep, nice bass in the left hand. So let me again talk about this instrument. I'll show you insides, and I can play. I guess I'll play maybe every note so you can hear the sound that everything plays well. So like I said, the instrument was made in Moscow, probably in 70s. I don't know, maybe 80s, maybe unlikely that's 60s, maybe even 90s. But again, most likely it was in 70s. The range in the right hand side is 61 notes. So, like I said, from G, octave, 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 up to here. And here you have 6 rows. There is 120 buttons plus 1 button for silent, so you can expand if you need or compress the bellows without producing any sound. That's just a valve basically. And this 6 rows, 2 rows near the bellow are bass rows of buttons, and one is main and the other is an additional row just to make it easier to play. Then there is major keys, major chords, minor, 7th and diminished 7th. So it's essentially, this is exactly the same as on piano key accordion. So if you have one or you're familiar with that, or you can see online, read about it, this is exactly the same. The difference is on this side. It has 2 voices for each button on the right hand, and for the bass there is 4 reeds playing at the same time, one an octave apart. And then for each chord is constructed of 3 or 4 notes depending on the chord, and each note represented by 2 voices, 2 reeds. So if you have a chord of 3 notes, then times 2, that's 6 reeds are playing. Let's see. So and backward. So all notes play nice. I mean, the chords sound right, and even in place nice, and here and higher notes as well as low. Pretty. Same thing. I'm not gonna play all the notes here. Just here is and the chords also, as you heard, they play really nice. So about the quality of the instrument, and so what's the most important thing, and I did say it in some other videos, in Russian videos, and there is one in English. I think the most important thing for accordion and any other instrument is response. Response is how instrument responds to your action. So if you trying to play, you're not fighting with an instrument. Whatever you do, the sound is exactly proportional, so to say, to what you do. So if you pull gently, it's a very soft sound. You pull more, there is a bigger sound. As soon as you jerk or do anything, even little changes, the instrument would respond to those changes. Changes to anything, how you pull, how you press the key, how you breathe in it, how you hold the instrument, how you shake it. So the better the instrument replicates what you do, the better the instrument is itself, the better the quality of the instrument. That's number one, I think. The number two is the timbre. If you like the sound, so some instruments could be perfect or almost perfect in the way how they respond to your action, but you don't like the sound, and what are you gonna do? You're gonna get tired really quickly, or you're not gonna play much because you can't stand the sound for long. Like for example, this is a dry tuning. I didn't say that, but I think you can hear. So the two reeds sounds like one. It's just more overtones, more harmonics, so it sounds richer compared to if they would just use one reed for each note. Some instruments would have wet tuning, so the two reeds will not be tuned the same. They'll be a little bit apart, so it will sound like wavy, like wah 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 wah. And some people just don't like it. They say, well, for the melodies that I play, slow melodies, if it's wet tuning, listeners will get tired pretty quickly. So it's not something recommended for slow melodies. Usually it's used on fast melodies. And like French musette, one of the type of tuning where it's a wet sound. Some people like it. For French waltzes it's perfect, but for Russian folk songs it's not the best for sure. So first is how it responds. This accordion responds very, very well. I guess on a scale from 0 to 10, I would give it 8 or somewhere 8, maybe 9. So that it is great. It's great response. In terms of the timbre, that's very subjective. I like it, somebody might not like it, so my score will be different with somebody else. If you're looking for a Bayan sound, a classical Bayan sound that has dry sound, powerful bass, and true Russian-made Bayan, this is it. So if you're looking for that, then your score should be pretty high if you evaluate the timbre of that instrument. The next thing I will talk about is compression or bellows, so how tight the bellows are. So here I'm pulling, you can feel they slightly going apart. So one test that people like to do is this. So I'm holding the instrument on one side and we'll see how it expands. It expands, but not really fast, and it's a pretty heavy instrument. It has brass reed plate, so I think it's probably, I don't know, 10 kilograms, 20 plus pounds. So it's not, you can stand in it with this, you can play not just sitting but standing. It's not as heavy as full size like concert instruments, but it's not light, very light either. So the bellows are really good. Again, on the scale 0 to 10, I would give it probably again 8 or 9. So very excellent bellows. Then mechanics. This is the linkages, valves, and here. So it's, like I said, it's from 70s, so the design is somewhat outdated. So these days they don't use the same designs anymore, but mechanic works excellent. So there is no issues. There was one button that was stacking. I fixed it, so that doesn't happen anymore. And it could happen if there is a very high moisture in the house, if you're not running AC, if you expose it, if you leave it in the garage, or I don't know, in a rainy day maybe. But we don't run AC all the time either, and now it works perfect. Most likely if it works in my house, it will work in other people's houses. So mechanics is in very good condition. The valves, because it's holding the air, so valves are sealing, Springs are not really hard, so some people I know like very hard springs, very tight. This is medium, I would say. It's pretty good for amateur and for advanced player. The professional players, they could be so picky that they need. I mean, they can play any instrument, will sound great, but for themselves, when they pick an instrument, they want a particular hardness of the spring or tension on the springs and particular lift of the buttons, etc. Anyway, the buttons are I replaced some of them, fixed the ones that were not holding well. The black ones are, I think they are all okay. The white ones, the black ones almost look like new. The white ones look they are plastic, and there is a look like patina or cracking a little bit. It's basically it's a surface effect. You see it, but you don't feel it when you touch. And I replaced a couple, like the ones show, like this one, that one. These are mother of pearl. This is natural. Made them the same height, and so everything. Maybe on some of those, like this one, you can feel it's not as smooth as some other buttons, but they are okay. They play fine. Show the left side. They are plastic buttons with an insert. So, and I made here on this button, which is E, I used file to put like a cross so you can find it, and then below here I made a like a hole, a little dimple, so you can also find it without actually looking there. So that's C. E and C are marked, and I didn't mark any others, but you can see how this marked, and if you want to do the same, just do it. You don't have to take it apart. Yeah? You can do it here. Just need to stuck something between the button and the hole, a gap in the gap, and then so the button doesn't go in and file it. Or you can take this cover off and hold it from the back on and file it. Okay, so mechanics is in a very good condition, not new. A couple parts were replaced, but mostly it's all original. And also, this has a brass mechanic parts linkages inside, which you will see, which is good. Brass has lower coefficient of friction. So let's take it apart and look inside. So I replaced the feet that put the rubber feet. They were plastic, white plastic feet. Before I changed it, they were all cracked, so now it's a little more. Okay. Raise it. You can see. Okay. So how do you open it? There are those types of nails. They're not real nails, but they look almost like nails, these guys. So you just pull them out with whatever tool you have. If you have pliers, would work. Some of them are not so tight. You can almost pull them out with with the fingers. Again, if you have strong fingers, but others don't pull easy. So those guys hold the right body with the bellows, and the same thing is here. If you want to disconnect the left body from the bellows. So let's start with the right body. Put this aside. So here is what you see inside. There are 3 resonators, and there are, put it like this. Okay. So to remove resonator, you turn this guy. That's like a screw type of screw, and you can take it out. So here is the resonator with reed frame. The reed frame is made out of one piece. I mean, there are also some here, but on this resonator, everything, so one piece on this side with reeds, and again, same thing on the backs on the other side. And like I said, this two would play the same note. So they tuned dry. There is number here. I think it's a serial number of this instrument, so it shows 1142. I also found that there is another number on the bass reeds and on the body. I think 1024. Let me see, I believe it was here. So I suspect, although not sure, that some parts on this accordion came from another instrument. Yeah, 1402. That's not, and this is 1142. So I think those reeds, maybe with the reed blocks, came from another instrument, and everything else is original to this instrument. Most likely those higher reeds are also from another instrument. I think they are from Italian accordion. Now you probably noticed, sorry I didn't say that, but you noticed there is a tape. See black tape? So this reed is not playing and that reed is not playing. But you essentially, if I play this, you're not gonna. It's hard to say that when there is only one reed playing or two reeds playing, especially in this high notes, and plus you're not going to be using those notes as much as lower notes, like in the mid-range, mostly what's used. But so I'm just letting you know that there is two reeds that are not playing because they are blocked, they're broken. I decided not to take them apart because I can take it out, fix it, put it back, but then the price will be different. So I want to start here. If somebody says that he wants he's interested and he wants this to be fixed, I will fix it. That's not a big deal. Okay. I can show valves also if somebody wants to see. So there are two rows of valves here and one on the back side. I'm gonna just open this side. The linkage on the back side slightly different. However, what you're gonna see, the valves themselves are exactly the same. So in order to take this grill off, just take 4 screws, replace those. There were some weird screws here, all different size, and you need to use different screwdriver. But now it's all for Phillips type screwdriver. I want to say about this grill. This grill is made from aluminum, and or aluminum alloy, and it's kind of stamped, or I don't know exactly the process they use to make it, but it's pretty. It can flex. So when you handle instrument, if you push on it, that edge might be pushing on some of those. So it's easy to bend it back, but just want to let you know that when handling, try not to hold the instrument on the grill. Try to hold it on the keyboard or the back side, but not on the grill. Okay, so I'll put it here. So you can see the valves. So these are the valves. They are stamped aluminum valves with rubber inserts or rubber pieces that would align the valve or make connection a little bit flexible between the linkage and the valve itself. And so there is some felt and leather on the bottom. So that's what it looks like. The deck, the soundboard, this piece is made out of plywood. Some people like it, some people say it's better when it's aluminum. So just for your information. I think wood is the best. Plywood is number 2, I would put, and then metal soundboards would be number 3. Metal soundboards good when are really give you advantage when you have register switches and you have more than 2 voices and everything has to so there is more complicated mechanics and everything has to work perfect, and then they usually they switch now to aluminum parts and some plastic materials. Belts, so the straps actually. These are two straps. They are leather straps. They are slightly worn, but they are almost look like new. And my wife made here, so those sleeves, so they cover those metal parts, and also so that you don't rub on your belly. Side. Now we're gonna look here. Or someone might notice this yellow pieces. I'll show it close. This, what this is, I added it. It's some kind of sticky tape. It's used for seal the bags. This is not from it. The label is incorrect. But so that yellow gummy stuff you can use to seal some bags. So they're like gum basically. They're pretty sticky and they remain sticky. So what I did for those holes where we used nails to hold to close accordion, I put it on the back side so there is no air leakage through those holes. So what you can see here is again reed blocks. This is for the bass. There are 4 reed blocks. One is here, one here, there, and there is one inside over there. So there are 4 reeds would play when you press one button. Now this one has, I'll try to use lens, has a name of the maker. So those are, oops, let me see. Just a second. I guess it would be hard to. I need to take the bellows completely. Anyway, just right here, right in the middle, right here. Let's see. Anyway, you can see the name stamped and the number. So I'll read what it says. It says Petrusov AA. That's the last name and initials, and the number is 1402. And I think all of these guys have 1402. So all these resonators, and I saw a couple places on the body it says 1402. They belong to this instrument. The reeds on the right side, the reed plates, probably came from another instrument. Not 100% sure, but I think that's the case. And I can take out the resonator for chords. So this is what creates the chords. Oh, here, this also has that name and the number, so it will be much easier. So here, okay. So the same stamp is over there on the other one. So everything is clean, nice condition. Those leather valves are all in place, and they're not when you hold it like this or like this, you can see they stay pretty close to the openings, so they work. I did not replace them. I think that's all original, but maybe somebody worked on it. If somebody did work on it, he did a great job. This is what you usually see as it comes from the factory. So there is also, in addition to this leather valve, there is also like a spring made out of film, an old film. That's what they used in the old days. Guess that's all I wanted to show here. I'm gonna close it, and we can open. Just take a look at the mechanics on the left side. So you close it. Just want to make sure that nothing got stuck between, and then insert those nails back. Usually you want to put the nice looking ones on the front side, and the ones that have more flatter heads like in the middle and the bottom, so that's where they there is more friction with the body, so that's how they wear out. Okay, so now also made some addition to this strap or belt left side. So there is a I added cushion, and this fabric is very slippery, so it's easier for a hand to slide up and down. So now let's take it. In order to take it apart, you can do this. You can take off the belt. That wheel is to it. Oh, you can't see. The wheel on top is to adjust the belt length. So you take this. Two. And the bottom one. Three. Now the body is wrapped in celluloid, so it's covered with celluloid, which gives advantage in terms of durability and withstand some better harsh condition. The right panel also plywood with celluloid on this side and plastic on the inner, and it's pretty flat, so it doesn't need any adjustment or install easy. So here you can see that mechanic. Everything, all the linkages, every pin is made out of brass. Very, very nice in terms of how it works, because low friction, but it's heavy. Okay, so the valves are, you can't quite see them, but they are behind all these linkages. If you wanna, for example, if you wanna put marks on it, you can push on the button, find which moves, and then hold it on the back, or ask someone to hold it, or put something between this linkage and the wall so it doesn't move, and then just file it. It's another way. Okay, so a little easier to insert when before this belt, when you don't have the cover installed, because you can easily, once you start it, you can then insert the cover. Okay, and then put those toys back. So what else I forgot to say? Accordion is it's basically, how would I qualify it in terms of category? It's not concert instrument, although you can perform on stage with it, but it's not a student level already. It's built much better. It plays better than the typical student level instruments. So it has nice response, it has very nice sound, and it's easy to play. It's pleasure to play this instrument. In fact, once I restored it, I used it when I practice at home. Unfortunately, I don't practice enough, but whenever I can, I use this for a couple weeks now to practice, and I like it very much. So one thing I want to also point at is this thing. I think accordion was bumped against something, so there is an indent here. It doesn't affect, you can't even feel it. I didn't even notice it until some days later. So I was playing, and this wasn't an issue. So you can see it, but it's not an issue. So you can see the condition. I didn't polish it, didn't do anything. I just wiped it and cleaned it inside. Yes, I didn't say that, but I did thorough cleaning of all the internals and bellows. So what else? Bellows are also, in the condition of the materials is pretty good. They have some little scratches and fading of the shine. It's not as shiny as the new instrument, but in terms of how it plays, in terms of how it sounds, everything is great on this instrument. I just put this back. So I want to show also how it goes in there. Box. So here is the case for it. And if it doesn't, it looks pretty busted, but it works. It works. In fact, I like it very much. I think among the ones I have, I like this the best. But I think this works best for this accordion, so it will go with accordion. So you open this two, open one in the middle, and then you open it. You can see it's a nice condition, red. It's not a velvet, it's something almost like a fur, but it's not, I don't think it's natural fur, it's synthetic probably. So you set accordion, so what you need to watch is, you don't want this to be, you don't want where the straps are attaching on the back panel. You don't want too much thickness here, because when they lay on the back it will stick up too much. So essentially you just want to make sure it's somewhat flat against it, and then you can lay like this. You can leave straps here or bring them to this side under the keyboard, push it all the way there. You can also put something in here. When you close it, you close this too, and lock it in the middle, and it's all done. And it sits pretty tight, so when you shake, it's not shaking inside, which is good. And there is some more room for something else if you want to put along with it. So that's what it is. We have a scale here. Let's measure. So with the case, it weighs 32 pounds, about a little over 30 pounds. I don't know if I mentioned, but some of the buttons here on the left side, the pieces, the inserts, they are either, I guess they're missing, or just, they feel like they melted. Maybe somebody tried to, melt them. I don't know. Anyway, you can feel when you touch them, they are not like this two, this one and that one, so a total of 6 don't feel the same as the others. But they play and they work fine. I mean, this one. Now, what work I did on it? So there was some problem with the bass reeds, the reeds in the bass side. I fixed that. I fixed some of the mechanical problem here, replaced buttons, cleaned it, did what I described for the bellows, for the straps and the left belt. Tuning was not bad, just a few keys were out of tune. And that's it probably, I think. That's all I did. Yeah. So again, so this is a Russian Bayan. This is called a full range, so it's 61 and 120 on this side. There is also 64. Sometimes they say 64 is a full range, so there will be 3 more keys here, or they can go from E, so it will be 3 here actually on the high side, on the low notes. There are some 67, I think. I don't know if there is any wider range, but essentially 61 is in big enough range, so if you're practicing scales, so this is 5 octaves, but I started from G. So if you start from C, then you can do a full 4 octaves. Another thing I didn't say, I just came to my mind, is the weight balance. So the thickness of the instrument and the weight balance, I believe, also play some role in how, I mean, to the how good is the instrument or how easy to play it. This one has pretty good weight balance and weight distribution, so when you put it on, you feel pretty good. It's not out of balance. It's not too thick in this way, this direction, and it's also not too heavy, not too it's just right, I think. Okay, so don't push on this if you get it, and if you have an instrument like this, try not to push on the grill. So that's one thing to be cautious about. And it will play for many years. By the way, I can give a warranty for 2 years. So factories usually give warranty 1 year. I can give warranty on this instrument for 2 years. If you're interested, let me know and we can discuss all the details. So. Forgot that one. Haven't played this one for a while. Anyway, so this is the instrument, and it was Sergey Semyonov from Accordion Utopia. If you're interested, just contact me, let me know, and we'll go from there. Take care. Bye.